Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for SUI render and FT price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. We're gonna start with SUI here on the all-time history to see where are we and where we might head, of course, for SUI. So basically, I would say here the 1-to-1 fib level has been taken, of course, for SUI as we were expecting, of course, in an A, B, and a C. And that because, of course, we are looking for three waves toward the upside in a wave A already, which is already finished, of course, and a deep correction in a wave B in the yellow here. We are expecting a wave C to open, of course, for higher prices there and to see something very impulsive toward the upside. Now, in case that we are in different scenarios, which it is a 1-2 and another 1-2, which I doubt it a little bit because this wave 2 is taking a lot of time here. We might see, of course, a potential wave 3, which it might be, of course, much more higher than the 1-to-1 fib level, much more higher than $6.9. We might see, of course, a wave 3, 1.618, which is above $7 at least. Now, the highest possibility is, of course, the three waves toward the upside, three waves down, and then we push for higher. However, after this wave B, if we are looking here at a 1-2 and then wave 3 is unfolding or finished with this, of course, a very strong wick. Of course, some platform have the wick even to the 0.5 fib level already given, meaning a 1, 2, 3 here is already finished and wave 4 given. Wave 5 is finishing up, very likely, of course, this push toward the downside. Now, in case this is a wave 5 impulsive towards lower prices, we are looking therefore for double 1-2. We have a potential wave 3, which also I don't like it so much. Why? Because, of course, the wave 3 inside this impulse for wave 3 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 is the shortest between the 1 and the 5. Of course, this is a signal and very important signal to be taken into consideration that something is wrong within this impulse and that it cannot be really considered as a wave 3. And we start to see, of course, the things here are changing, and we see, of course, already a low taken there. So very likely that we might be in a very complex structure here, that we are finishing a potential wave 2 or a wave B. Now, yesterday we saw, of course, lower prices again, which was very close anyway for the 886, which is already taken. And I think that we might still, of course, take one more low here for SUI. Definitely these lows signify, of course, something for one more low before we push toward the upside again. Meaning, if this is a correction, the top of it, and we are looking here at a potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this wave 5 might still have one more low, potentially can be ending diagonal, or it can be an impulse internally, we're gonna see it, but very likely that we still can take the low there. Now, in case that the things will be even much more, how to say, like much more a little bit confusing, since the market is, of course, has a lot of hesitation and confusion. It might be an ABC there, three ways toward the upside, three ways down, and then you push 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, meaning an ABC correction here, and then, of course, pushing for one more low toward the downside. And this can signify, of course, a potential 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5 to finish up again, of course, a bigger ABC there, and then still looking for this blue zone that we might still take, of course, at least at $1, which is very psychological number there. It might still be, of course, a possibility, guys. And that because, of course, of the numerous 886 taken as fib levels in this area, guys. We see, of course, a lot of 886, meaning weakness. We cannot, of course, launch an impulse toward the upside, of course, unless it's gonna be a wave C. It can be, of course, a wave C, which can be stronger recovery and then pushing down again. Yeah, so probably taking these lows, or probably directly finishing one more low in a very, very, very small move here by taking the lows and then starting something very bullish toward the upside. So one of these scenarios for the bullish, of course, a little bit bullish of recovery here might be, of course, an ABC, but we're still gonna take the lows. And in case that we might continue for lower, it might be a small drop, taking the lows, finishing this push toward the downside, and then starting the push for higher. Now, if the things are going to keep, of course, weakness, it can still, of course, reach the wave 5. Don't forget the wave 5 targets can simply take the low, or it can of course dive for deeper in the blue box over there. Now if we dive inside it on the 2 hours chart here, we can see that the following push toward the downside here is of course as impulsive. We have here already a finished impulse 1 2 3 4 5, and we got kind of like, if this is an ABC expanding flat because we took the low, of course this can be an ABC, and that this is your last push toward the downside, knowing that of course this looks a little bit kind of like a corrective and complex structure. However, if this internally something impulsive as a 1 2 3 here, wave 4, well, if this is your wave 4, which it did not took the invalidation yet, so I would say in case that we are in an impulse here, knowing that I don't like it of course, but I always take the possibilities. Invalidation of bearish is of course at this price, meaning 1.52. If the price goes for 1.52, definitely we are not in an impulse anymore. Definitely we might see something as pushing for higher, as 1 2 3 4 5 can be of course 3 ways up, 3 ways down, and then 1 2 3 4 5 for 1 to 1 fib level, which is 1.83. And that means of course invalidation of anything bearish, because of course if you are in a deeper correction here, can be even double 1 2, since of course this can be considered a 1 2 3, and this is your wave 4, no invalidation taken, and that means of course your wave 4 will be taken sooner or later in case of course this wave C will unfold. Now, because of the 886, as I mentioned, of course, the 886 has been taken several times. I'm still looking for one more low, guys. I'm still looking to reset, of course, this area by one more low and starting something very fresh and very impulsive toward the upside. Meaning, if we get a small low here, and of course, we start to see something very impulsive, that might be even much better scenario for the bullish here, because of course it somehow reset the area and removes this potential of 886, which it can only unfold something as a wave C very likely. Yep, so these are the possibilities right now on the 1 hour chart. Here we can see of course that you have something impulsive as a wave 1, knowing also the finish of this wave 5 is horrible, right? Is something wrong in it, which I still, of course, I'm still very convinced that it is something corrective. It can be something, again, of course, as a 1 2 3 4 5, but of course, be careful from it. Be careful from this shape here and this volatility that we saw before, especially that this, if it is a wave 2, it is a very long time here. As per the fib level for a wave 2, this is a very long wave 2, which is of course reducing so much the possibility again. So we gotta be careful with it. On the 15-minute chart, internally we see of course a 1 2 3. This wave 4 right now is unfolding still, but you would like to see something pushing for higher. If we don't see something pushing for higher here, well, the things might of course continue to drop for lower prices, guys, because anyway, again, the timing is playing again as alternation as wave 2. This is too long. Okay, so this is too long based on the wave 2. So I still believe, of course, one more low might unfold toward the downside for SUI, and preferably, of course, to reset this area and see something very massive after it. Maybe we're gonna take the lows with a few cents here, and then, of course, seeing something very strong toward the upside. If we take a look also at the KGT, well, it's very clear, guys. It's very clear. The pressure of selling is huge. All right, it is all convergences with the signals here. We see, of course, one signal buy, but nothing yet is in divergence. We see this VD line is pushing for higher and not pushing for down. No divergences are created even. So I doubt so much, of course, that we're gonna continue very massively toward the upside. We're still corrective, and I'm still expecting, of course, the lows to be taken for SUI, guys. Yep, so these are my expectation for SUI. If we move, of course, for the next one, which is render. For render, also on the all-time history, we are looking at this correction, of course, after a potential impulse, wave 1 or a wave A. We got our correction and another impulse, finished, of course, a zigzag here, or a double 1 2. But of course, because of the wave 2 time here, it is very likely that you are in a zigzag finished wave A, and you're looking for a very long sideways here correction as well, and of course for deeper prices, still looking for it. So basically what we are looking into in this correction is of course three ways down. You have a triangle ABCDE, and we're looking to finish here another structure, which is of course at least A, B, and a C toward the downside. Therefore, yes, the pressure is still there also for render, and we might still see of course an ABC there, or it can be also kind of like a sideways triangle, but I doubt it because we have already an X as a triangle here, meaning very likely that you might get a flat or of course a zigzag. Now, regarding the time taken as well, of course, from the wave A there, or the W as well, and based on the wave B, the triangle, you would like to reach at least the 0.618 fib time here as a correction. And that means, of course, it might still unfold something corrective. Now, what is important to take into consideration, that this correction might be a little bit different here. You might get, of course, kind of like a rebound as a recovery, which is your wave B, because this is your wave A within the wick. You get a wave B, and you might later on get a wave C, even with a perfect timing here, and the 1-to-1 fib level and 1-to-1 fib time at the same time in confluence, of course, and then to push toward the upside for something very massive, of course, as an A, B, and a C. Therefore, yeah, the weakness is still there. No signal for strength yet for render also on the daily. And if we take a look also on the 2 hours chart, well, obviously that this is of course something very long in time here in case it is a correction. It can be a wave B, of course, in case that this is an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I doubt it. It can be an ABC potential correction here, that it might still be unfolding. Of course, it can be something even much more complex, which it might play, as I mentioned, of course, as a potential A, B, and a C toward the upside here. But it's very, very hard to say yet, of course, especially with this sideways, guys. Yeah, so if we are in an A, B, something like this, and then wave C later on to take more time. But yeah, it can be, but still, of course, very hard to say. And that because, of course, of this very long sideways. Nothing is impulsive yet, and we don't see any signal of strength, of course, for render yet. And the 886 are taken almost also there. In case you are in a 1-2 expanding flat ABC, 1 ABC, wave 2, and then you would like to push for higher, can be, of course, but at the end it is a wave C. Yeah, so we're gonna dive again potentially deeper inside our blue box here. Can be, of course, very likely in case you are also in a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, should be finished unless that this wave 5 is still unfolding something as a zigzag like that, meaning A, B, and a C, meaning higher prices for wave B still, and then wave C to unfold and finishing, of course, all the zigzag, yeah, A, B, C, A, B, C, and finally another A, B, and a C, somehow like this. Still, of course, looking for the same blue boxes. That means, of course, reset for the area, finishing, of course, one more low, and that would might, of course, unfold something very massive toward the upside again, guys. In case we take one more low here and we push for higher, well, that would be, of course, a good scenario in case this happens. But I still doubt it, guys, so be careful with it. And that because, of course, of the correction here that we can see very sideways. Yep, so this is regarding also render. Still looking for lower, no signal of strength yet for FET as well on the daily here. For FET, we are looking for the daily. 1 second, here we go. So for FET, we have a W, X, and a Y finished over there, and that because the wave Y is a zigzag finished. Wave A, 3 waves, right? And we're looking also for a correction. Now this correction is made of 3 waves down, of course, and then followed by a triangle, A, B, C, D, and a E. The same as for render, we see, of course, 3 waves down, and we might, of course, be in an A, and you got a wave B, and the wave C might still be unfolding and still need the fib time 0.618 at least here to be taken, of course, for FET. And in this case, of course, if we are still looking for lower, That means, of course, you might be in something as an ending diagonal here, A, B, and a C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unless, of course, as this diagonal, which is invalidated, by the way, so we don't have it anymore. So one possibility is out here for higher prices, meaning yes, very likely that we might be, of course, in lower prices. Now, if we are looking for an ending diagonal, well, you have to expect a wave 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Of course, continuation somehow very sideways, and lower prices might unfold with new lows here, of course, and until we reach the perfect time, guys, required for this correction to be finished. And that means, of course, on the lower time frame here, we might still expect after this correction here that you can see very long sideways, obviously, right? Very long sideways. Now, you might still expect A, B, and a C here a little bit higher, but the things, of course, are going to move for one more low, especially if you are here in a 1, 2, 3, potentially wave 4, and a wave 5 can still be unfolding as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Yeah, so knowing that this, if this is of course a three ways, and this is of course something to unfold as a correction as well, you might still be in a W, X, and a Y, even internally to finish a wave Y. Yeah, so the things are very, very complex, of course, still with the altcoins here as WX. Of course, the X is three ways up here, and the wave Y, meaning the wave Y can be an ABC here. This is what I mean with the wave Y. Okay, so it can be an ABC. The wave A can be a finished diagonal, wave A, and you're looking for a wave B, and then wave C to hit still, of course, our blue box as expected since a long time ago, and still looking for it, but very, very slow and in a very, very complex structure. Yep, so these are the possibilities for SUI render and FET, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.